Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Highland Coffee Talk Show. Today we have Passang with us, and he's an avid adventure cyclist. You all ready to drop some knowledge on us?
I think what I started as mountain biker, and then I started doing road bike, and after that I had a mind that I want to camp, I want to go on the trails. I can't do that on my mountain bike, and I can't do that on a road bike. So my thoughts was I need a bike that can do adventure.
Absolutely. Yeah, this morning I just stepped into our studio, and you have a really sick bike, man. You would just want to talk a little about your setup, like how you set up a bike?
Sure. Here is my bike that's been set up. So these are my pads and some cooking stuff on here. So you can literally go both on here. Then you have this bag full of goodies. So you put all your food or whatever you are looking for, and you have a knife. This is actually set up as an, I would say 3 days roughly. That's the setup unit. And then if you are doing more than 4 or 5 days, then literally you take this bag out and you have a bigger bag that goes on here, so you can put your tent and all the stuff on here. Bag here, I have a sleeping bag, and pull it out, and that's where you put it on your bag on there. And this bike is actually, it's a chromoly steel frame, so if you do need to put lots of weight on that, this bike can handle all the gears that you're looking for. Like, let's say if you're doing like a month trip or something, you can literally put racks or anything on that too. I want to shout out to a couple of my adventure friends. This was from Rogue Panda. These are custom. That's basically custom for this bike here. And my one and only sandals that I always carry. These are from Bedrock sandals. These are great sandals too. You just need one thing, because if you need to cross a river or cross or something, the shoe is not waterproof, then you're gonna probably ending taking the shoes off. So the sandals are a lot better for that, so shout out to that. And then the bike is it's from a company called Velo Orange, and that's what this brand is from. Other than that, you do have, if you don't have a bottle, so you can't see, there's no bottle holder on here, there's this bag here that you can pull it out of water and then sip it up. And I think that's pretty much, I have it.
And it's like almost, and also another thing I just realized with biking is it's an expensive hobby, and it adds up. So like what are your thoughts on that? How much have you put in? I mean, you don't have to disclose, but like, was it expensive?
Yes. I mean, if you have, I called a cycle as a therapy.
Absolutely.
If you want that therapy and you're willing to spend money on that, you're gonna enjoy your life.
Sure.
That's what I spent lots of money on this bike, but I enjoy every second of riding, packing, going backpacking. I enjoy every minute, every second on this bike.
Okay, so like, what was your first? And by the way, before I'm gonna ask this, it's so dope to have you here because you're the first. Like first off, you're the first Tibetan, guy in our show finally, and you're not just, following a conventional career path. You're in adventure cycling. Just your style is super cool, man. I'm digging it.
Thank you.
I like the mustache. I'm
Thank
liking, all this, and that's I wanted to shout out that right off the bat.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And like, what's your like, how did you get into like, this interest, and talk a little about that.
Sure, totally. So I work at REI, and a couple of my friends I was like, hey, Tenzin, you should do some bike packing stuff. So my first bike, I won't say bike packing, but it's kind of there. My first one was at the Angel Island.
Yes, the camps.
That's a camp, and that's like a good beginner bike packing.
And so every time you go back to the adventure element in your, like, every time you go back, do you, what is it that you're seeking, or is it just to, like, for me, when I go to nature, it's to re-energize or rejuvenate my soul.
Right.
But like, could you, like, what's some of the...
For me, it's like more of like I said, it's like more like a therapy to me.
Sure.
As we are living in a world of, there's lots of people around here, there's different cultures, different environment, different habits. So you're basically taking all that in your brain in the city life.
True.
And try to get out that. You need to do something. You need to be outside more. You get that relaxation. Like, let's say if you're doing hiking, you're gonna enjoy the nature, the bird sound, the water, all the stuff. Similar thing with the biking as me. Like when I'm going, I get this enjoyment, relaxation that
you can't replicate this
Right.
elsewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, and so also also as a test of one's athleticism, because I think biking is, you have to be reasonably fit, right? You can't be.
True.
So like, could you talk about like how it builds endurance? For me at least, when I do these climbs, man, it kicks my ass. Just the other day I was in Marin, I was doing the mirror
that's a
loop.
good one.
It's like 10 miles, man, but it kicked my ass, like, oh my goodness. So I was gonna, like, what do you think about that?
Long story short, when I was in school, I was super into sports. I was school team with basketball, track and field. So my background, I have like a big, like sports. Like I have to do something. If I don't do something, I'm gonna be like, okay, like shit, what I'm gonna do? My body hates me if I stay along enough.
You have to be active.
I have to be active. So I think that's why I've been really good with my stamina and building up there. Biking is challenging. That's like, it's period. It's like you need to be really active on that. Your heart beats up, and it's really good for your heart too, because you need to constantly breathing on that, especially when you're going up, like you said.
Oh man. No, just because recently, again, I'm super new to biking, so I'm a noob, man, compared to you.
Right.
It's just, if you just watch the Tour de France, right? It just happened, and 22-year-old Egan Bernal,
Right.
man, he crushed it. And I was like so inspired, and even I watched Giro 2 years ago, because I knew, I had some friends in Italy, and Tom Dumoulin, I can't say his name right, but his climbs, and those are just, it's crazy, man. And like, I was gonna ask you, like, from when you started and now that you've been, it's like more than 7 years, have you gotten considerably stronger? Like what's a part of ride you enjoy the most?
Definitely. It's not just riding. Like bike, you do need to go like constantly at the gym, work out your legs, do some spin class. definitely help you out.
You said spin class.
Spin class. There are-
Interesting.
It gives you your heart to beat, get trained your heart, and once you've done that, it's then the biking, any bike like road bike or mountain bike, it's the same style of riding. One is on the trail and one is on the road,
Yeah.
but you just have to like breathe, how to know how to breathe that when you're climbing. That's the main part.
And what do you think about the overall, like, so you're an adventurous cyclist, so just the culture around it, and how do you enjoy the culture?
California, I'd say heads up to that. The culture is big.
Oh, absolutely.
But if you go to like some other states, like recently I was in New York, and cycling culture is not welcome over there.
Oh,
much.
what?
It is tough. I'd say cycling in New York is tough.
Just like
Just-
drivers being dicks?
Yeah,
Or?
yeah. They will push you. They will push you like they will like the shoulder of yours is not wide. You need like a pretty wide shoulders for to cross it. But I was in New York and I was like hats off to all those riders.
Yeah,
But in the Bay, like man, loving it.
absolutely.
The culture is so wide.
So even like, so I guess you're more about acceptance, and I guess we could transition to safety and stuff. Like, do you feel
Right.
safe riding around, or?
Yes, around I would say East Bay, yes.
Okay.
But in the city like San Francisco, there's a challenge there.
Yeah.
I heard lots of things about,
Me too.
but I mean, look, if you overall in California in the Bay, it's I would say safe.
Okay.
I'm not going to compare to Oregon or Portland's, which is a different environment and they're big.
Isn't Portland like one of the biggest biking communities,
Correct,
right?
Yeah. But in the Bay, I'm like privileged to ride up here, and I felt more safe over here too, compared to like other states.
That's yeah. Like, who was doing, like, if you did like probability studies, and they were saying how the likelihood of getting hit on a bicycle is apparently similar to being, even if you're a pedestrian, right? So I don't know. Do you think that sounds about right, or?
It's about right, yeah.
And you just have to, because I mean, as a rider myself and also a car driver, sometimes bike riders can be dicks, man.
It is
like
true.
literally riding in the center of the. Come on, if
It
you're not
is true.
driving, like riding that fast,
I
just, like, yield the lane, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Right.